Well, hello everyone. Hey, thanks for joining us again tonight. It's Wednesday and we're hanging out. Shower door professionals, just like we do every week. And yeah, hope you're having a good one so far. I know I am. It's been a little weird. I had to drop my wife off at the airport like a week ago Friday. She went back to Kansas to take care of her mom, her elderly mom, get her moved out of the big house into a smaller, like little one bedroom apartment closer to where her brother lives in Colorado. So she's been on this mission to do that. So she's doing good. Mom's like, she's a tough old gal. She's still taking care of herself. She doesn't really need um, any additional help any more than the rest of us, right? But so she's got her all moved in, and I get to go pick her up from the airport this evening after the call. So I'm stoked. Got a ton of dirty laundry, and it's like just barely hanging on to life. But I've kept the dog alive while she's been gone. None of the plants have died. So it's a good day.
I don't know. That single life's nice too.
Yeah, it's nice for about the first week. You're like, oh man, this is nice. It's like
You don't
my
have
own
that.
boss.
You don't have that yappy turpin in your ear. We will all the time.
But then after about a week, 8 days, 9 days, start to feel a little lonely, start to miss her. So, but it's like we always say, hey, how can I miss you if you never go away?
Do
So
it again. Do it again. No, I'm
we got
fine.
we got that.
I don't remember getting invited to a party at Chris's house last week.
Yeah, yeah. You wouldn't find it fun probably. Anyway, tonight we are going to talk a little bit about personal development and motivation. Great topic. Let's talk about like overcoming obstacles, building confidence, achieving personal and professional goals. Um, and man, I've got a lot to learn on the topic. Learned a few things along the way. But I'll tell you the primary thing that I've learned on this topic is you have to know what you want. And you have to know how to define success for you. The cool thing about success is like you get to decide what success is for you. Nobody else can tell you what it is. So another person's idea of how successful you are is just that, it's like their idea. But it's your idea of what success means for you that you need to achieve, right? And so whenever I am coaching people, I do from time to time have someone ask me to coach them. And the first thing I ask them is, well, tell me what it is that you want to achieve. And you think that would be simple, right? But it's like that stumps people. People are like, I have no idea. It's like, well, yeah, well, if you don't know what you want, um, you'll never know if you get it, you know? So, and it's different for everybody. A lot of people want to be rich. But I don't just assume somebody wants to be rich, because not everybody does. But most people do though. 99 out of 100. It's like having a lot of money is usually what they're after. So when we talk about success, usually, it's a given that like we're talking about money for the most part. But that being said, um, who's got something that they want to throw into the conversation here as we get started.
I mean, I don't mind throwing some stuff in there.
Go for it, man.
This is kind of all I do right now. It seems these days is try to find ways to grow and develop myself along with the business, which, hopefully growing myself will help develop the business. But um I would definitely say success is relative to your goals, relative to where you came from and where you want to go, and it's amazing how quickly that can change. And it's okay that it changes, it seems like, because I remember my definition of success was for a while, I just wanted to be doing better than my dad did, like at his age. So like he had a house at a certain, so I wanted to have a house in this, I wanted to have a house and do this. I just wanted to do a little bit better than my father. If I felt like I did a little bit better than my father, then I would be good in his eyes and I would be successful. But that's changed obviously now. So, um, is it okay if I show the book that I showed you before, Chris?
Yeah, yeah, please
Yeah.
do. Yeah, that's
So, I
awesome.
mean, one of the books that one of my buddies gave me when I first started reading. So after I read some Dave Ramsey stuff, the next book that I read was this book for The Magic of Thinking Big. And it really kind of expanded my mind and, so did stuff there and made me think that my goals were actually small, and so it just got me thinking differently. And another fun thing that's helped me was a vision board. So I was, I love Steve Harvey and I was watching a lot of his stuff. And then somehow I went down the rabbit hole of his motivational stuff at a certain point, and he convinced me to do a vision board, and I did that probably about 3 years ago. And it's fun to look back on because there's actually things on there that I've crossed off now. And like, there's things that I'm working on this year that are going to get crossed off on the list. And it's like, holy crap, that's actually happening, and it's weird. So, but that's, reading as many books as I can. I read as many books as I can now, I don't try to go crazy, but maybe 20 minutes to an hour a day and grow as much as I can. And then the biggest thing is learning from you guys, like finding the next person that's where you want to be. So, and just watching them.
Right, and people have different like things that you might want like in different areas. Like it may not be one person who has, I want to be exactly like that person. But it's like, well, he has this thing, there's a relationship thing that
Mm-hmm.
I really admire the way, they're his marriage, or here's somebody who I really admire the way that they do their business, or here's someone who I really admire the way, they do recreation. It can be anything like that. And
Yep.
so with the vision board thing, is that something that you do like on a annual basis, like a lot of people do?
No, I just did it once and I updated it throughout as the year went on. And I've revisited it to read it. And that's when I saw that some things had actually happened, and I haven't updated it yet. But I do laugh at some of the things on there. It's like, oh, that was pretty simple-minded, but it's okay. Like, so just the certain goals and stuff like that. Like you realize, like, so my revenue goal for the business was to get to $6 million, which would be 3 times the amount. But now the revenue goal is not that anymore. It's not that anymore, it's significantly more, and then so it's just the expansion of your mind at a certain point. But the vision board, I probably should update it. I probably should, or
Yeah.
just make a new one.
I was just curious because
Yeah.
people do that, and people do it different ways, but
Mhm.
that's a perfect example of like figuring out what it is that you're after. Because a lot of times it's amazing how often people say, I want to be successful. And if you ask them, okay, well, what does that mean for you? And they're like, uh, it's like if you had, if you had a genie appear right now and said, I'll give you one wish, whatever you want, name what it is. The average person could not say what that is. And so it's an important first step, in becoming successful is figuring out, man, where are you going? Where do you want to be? So
Mhm.
I think a vision board is a great way to kind of really conceptualize that, and you know,
Yeah.
it's awesome. Hey
Yeah, I
man,
can relate to that, Daniel, that vision board concept. I remember writing down something after reading Dave Ramsey. My friend hooked me up with free Sirius satellite radio on a truck. And I was like, cool. Listened to all the boring stuff, found myself on the finance channel, just listened to it, not agreeing with much of what he said. And eventually I was like, I'll do a budget. Oh, I'll get out of debt, a 2 year plan, wrote it on the board, the LLC goals, the business goals, the lines of credit, the small actions you can do on a daily basis, the things you can sign up for that you don't know what you want to do with it today, but in 3, 4 years, having 3 or 4 years of small monthly incremental things on your accounts will really help you have the leverage to make that credit decision. They see 4 years of activity, not 4 years go by, you finally decide, I'm ready, and you go and ask for a loan or ask for referrals, and you have no track of you existing besides the day you decided to finally be financially ready. So Dave Ramsey's like financial planning, those coaches they had was awesome. Writing down on the board and feeling like a failure, like 2 years into my starting what I was doing and looking back on the board, like half of it was crossed off. And that feeling was crazy because some of it was ridiculous, but that feeling of accomplishment, of feeling like you're down and out, but not realizing how much you've actually done and how hard we are on ourselves all the time, of never feeling like what we've done is enough. But if we actually were tracking the things we're doing, we have a lot to be proud of and like feel okay with ourselves about. We just hardly ever do that, especially in the positions a lot of y'all are in. You only hear the bad news. I've heard that like twice in the past week from owners I've spoken with, how they forget to see how many wins their teams had, especially because they usually get called for only the bad things and the big mistakes. So it's hard for them to realize how successful they're actually doing and how good they're actually doing in their life right now. But tracking goals, writing things down. Keith is here. What's up, Keith?
Yeah, well put. Yeah, that's really true. What's a good book title, Rob? What's something people should?
I like
I know you got a list.
yeah, I have a download sheet I remember sharing with the group. I'll put it in the Facebook groups, asset files, a big download sheet of books I've recommended. And
Oh,
I believe
cool.
other people have shared some before. So I'll go log those that I've down. But Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willings, awesome. Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins. That's a great one. Dan Martell's been a good topic lately
Dan
for
Martell.
people
Yeah.
right now, talking about how to build yourself out of the business. This is an important thing so many people talk about, but he's got a few good books specific to those with action items and steps. Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover is awesome. John Deloney, Anxiety book recently was a great one for the psychological side that we have to tend to too, so we don't become too much to handle for our loved ones and the people supporting the businesses around us. So communication, those are huge. That those books touch on a lot of that.
Yeah. Nice.
I like his Dave Ramsey's Entree Leadership book too. I read that one. It's amazing how you can pick a book up too and read it so fast when you're so engaged with it or it relates to you or you enjoy it versus like a book. I have a friend that gave me David Goggins' Never Finished book, and I can't. I literally, it's funny because I cannot finish it, and it's just not engaging, you know. So it's weird how you find those books that you actually can breeze through, and then ones you don't, you know. So I was going to say something, but I forgot something else.
It'll come back to you.
Maybe.
Yeah, I've read a lot of different kinds of books, and when I started reading like the self-help, self-improvement literature, like I said, I mean, once you read one, they almost always are referring to another one. So like, oh yeah, I'll have to check that out.
It
Um,
came
but
back to me finally.
what is it?
Staying motivated to produce content. Because you reminded me with Keith, staying motivated. Like the past couple of months, I have not, I've been a little bit busy, but I've also just been unmotivated to produce content. And it's like, I just am lacking the creative motive, you know? Like I just don't feel the creativeness and stuff anymore or the drive to do it, but I know it needs to be done. So it's like trying to rekindle that fire to drive that aspect of the business because obviously nobody else is going to do it. I'm not paying somebody to do it, you know? So unless I decide to.
Heath,
So that's tough.
Heath,
Finding the motivation every day to do something on there.
yeah, how
Like
do you do that? How do you stay motivated?
That's a good general question I had too. After 21 years in this business, what are some of the things that keep you guys motivated? You know, we're I'll term it a full service glass shop. We don't just do shower doors, even though that's probably the biggest part of our business. But you know, day in and day out, you want to try to keep your employees motivated. They want to grow too. you want to try to let them grow, but you yourself kind of got to lead that charge. And I find myself struggling with that. I think books are extremely helpful. Like Daniel you guys cited a few of those. I love to read. They motivate me. But day in and day out, what are some of the things that you guys do? Like you get up in the morning and say, "Okay, world, I'm coming to kick somebody's ass today in business." I'm interested in that. I struggle with it.
Good question.
I would think just having your basic business goals and trying to reach them, for the business aspect of it to keep you going on the business side of it. And then maybe figuring out what kind of goals your people have. I always thought about it, but I've never done it, but trying to figure out what kind of goals the guys have and where they want to be and what they want to be doing, but I just haven't done that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can help develop them and get them there. Because I guess growing the people with you would give you something to do and give you motivation to do something, to help grow somebody else.
One thing that I found helpful is just having a routine, and being in a routine. And if you make learning or whatever it is, you want to be motivated at as being a part of that routine, it's easy to do it and just do a little bit every day. Another good book is called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. Great book. Talks about how habits are formed, how advertisers use, tap into this tendency we have to create habits, and how like big brands became big because they just tapped into this, and how you can kind of hack your own psyche to create your own habits, create good, positive habits. So it's just how the habit loop works. Basically, it's you do something, and there's a reward that that you just build into it. So if you've already got a routine, it's really easy to build in a new habit because you can just attach it. You can use something you're already doing as a cue to do this new activity. So there's the cue, there's the activity, and then there's the reward. That's the three parts of the habit loop. So if you already brush your teeth every morning, you can decide to start doing something immediately after you brush your teeth. And then do that every time you brush your teeth. And then after you do that, figure out some way to reward yourself for it. And it can be just, an attaboy, or just something that you like to do. And it doesn't take long. People are saying, it takes 3 weeks. Some people say it takes more, but um, I think you can do it in less than 3 weeks if you build that in. And it becomes like really habitual. It becomes a thing where it's hard to stop doing it, even if it's a positive thing. So that's a real good motivator for me, is just build it into my routine. I don't have to really think about it, just kind of automatically do it.
So the one thing I did was, sorry, I've been reading lots of books, and the motivational books, and I read them and I read them. I've always found the same thing. It's hard to read them and then engage it and follow through and actually put it into practice. So 3 weeks ago, I hired a coach, and I know that's kind of taboo or a bad word in some circles, because
No, not at
oh,
all.
yeah, a coach can be whatever, but I hired a coach, so I'm not too deep into it yet, but we've done like 90-day planning sessions, which goes into a lot of this stuff like motivating and stuff. So like we did a 90-day planning session, so just planning out 90 days, 3 goals. So one's a financial goal, one's like a personnel goal, like for the staff, and just break it into like over 90 days, 13 weeks, and how to move each of those goals for the 13 weeks a little bit at a time, just moving the goalposts for each of these goals, whether the financial goal, I'll break it down into whatever. And then in the next 90 days, we'll meet, either revisit those same goals. Do we meet them? track them, do something else, or do another 3 goals entirely. Always a financial goal, though. Always a financial goal and whatever. But part of that too was, and I'm still working on this with them as well, but big picture, what's the vision for the company? And I didn't realize this even when I started the company like 2 or 3 years ago. Like I had an idea what I wanted the company to be, but I never had a really good in-depth vision of what this company was supposed to be. So once I start, and it's still not done, but starting putting this vision together of what the company is, that really started firing me up. So if you want to get some motivation, think about that vision. And that was a real hard mental block for me to do because working on it, Chat GPT helped. And just keep asking yourself why, and then just throw in some information and ask yourself why, and pull and pull and pull and pull and get different like tone or effect or whatever mission you want to try and get out of it. And then at the end, like it's coming, it's like 90% done, but it like you read it and you kind of get like an emotional feel to it, and then you apply it to like your 90-day goals. And it was kind of rewarding just seeing this all come through. And then if nothing else, there's a financial motivation because now you're accountable to someone both in your time and your money. So the books are $20, but now you're paying someone every week or every 2 weeks that you're going to meet, and you're accountable to that person. So that kind of helps too.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. Robert was talking about Dan Martell, and he has his book Buy Back Your Time, and he talks about this thing of where he was talking to a buddy who was just overwhelmed with stuff, and was trying to convince him to hire somebody to take on all this stuff that was like just bogging him down so he could free himself up to do the stuff that he loved to do and that he was really great at doing. And he's like, well, isn't there like a book I can buy for $20, that'll teach me to do this? It's like, dude, you don't get it. But I think coaching is an awesome thing. It's like anybody who's like a high functioning, athlete, celebrity, whatever, is probably being coached. Because the beautiful thing about a coach is that what does a coach do? A coach doesn't really teach you. Um, like an athlete who's being coached, his coach probably isn't as good as he is at doing what he does athletically. Probably doesn't know much more than what he knows, although he might, he maybe know a couple things, but it's really reminding you of what you need to do. And it's like, yeah, accountability. It's like it says in the chat. So it's accountability. It's because it's so easy to forget everything that you know because our focus is just so small. And we just have just a little bit of bandwidth all day to do everything we've got to do. To have somebody in your corner reminding you, oh yeah, don't forget to do this. And you're saying, oh yeah, I almost forgot to do that. Even though I know to do that. It's just like a golf coach, a golf coach tells you, or watch the ball, or like baseball is a perfect example. The number one saying in baseball is like, keep your eye on the ball. Why is that? Because nobody keeps trying, it's so hard to do. It sounds like a simple thing, but you have to be reminded to do it all the time.
It's just a nice to have another set of eyes on the just someone to step back too. We're like, so in the weeds in like the construction of the business or the technical aspects of the business, and someone there just stepping back who maybe has no idea about the business and looks at the dollars and cents of just how the business operates as a whole, and without that technical knowledge, say like, why do you do that? And with just layman's terms, and just says that doesn't make sense, where you've always just done it that way because that's the way you've always done it.
Exactly.
what kind of coach is this? Is it like a business coach? Is it a personal coach? Like, what kind of
Business
coach is it? And then what does the interaction look like on a, so, I mean, I know you're just getting into it, but like so far, what is the interaction like? Is it like a weekly thing? Is it an in-person thing? Do they watch your business? You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of interactions is it and what kind of
So
coach is it?
one-on-one in person, and then basically it just started with like bringing all my financials, like my P&Ls and a balance sheet and stuff, and bringing all that together, and then bringing a bunch of the financials to the business, and then bringing out like my vision for the business, how many employees, what we do, basically what I've done on my social media. Just right now, it's what we're doing. Then they're going to come like right into the office, see the operations, and like build from there, right from like an org chart up, a little bit of HR stuff as well, and just like a whole growth pattern. And even to the point where, maybe we start vertically integrating in the next few years, to the point where we're going to build this to what's my exit strategy when this is all done. Do we build it to sell? Do we build it to franchise? Do we build it for what? What's the plan? But the plan is always to have an exit strategy at the end. So I don't want to do it forever. So the is what's the plan? Whether I decide to exercise it or not doesn't matter, but there has to be an end game. So that's what it's being built to do, is build it to X.
How'd you find
Sounds
that
like,
person, Ryan?
Sorry?
yeah.
How did you find that coach?
Online. There's a company called Action Coach that it's a franchise that has this, and they had a representative around here. The company's based out of Australia, but they have a headquarters in Nevada or like Las Vegas or something, and they have coaches all around the world that do this.
Yeah.
So it was pretty reasonably cost, and they have all sorts of different programs, from like group programs to these like 90-day sessions to 12 like different other 12-week programs to these one-on-ones and all sorts of different things. And you can just kind of pick and choose what buffets you want to do. So I kind of went all in on a 12-week one for now, and then just pick and choose what I want to do.
I think that's a great idea. My wife is an orthodontist, and in her profession, there are numerous consultants throughout the United States,
Yeah,
who offer these type of services, where they'll come in and analyze their business for all the things that you described. Are you trying to sell it? Are you trying to buy a business? Let's evaluate how many staff members do you need, how, based on the volume that you do. And I often felt like our industry is very fragmented. A lot of us are all just individual owners, and I mean, I would love and long for some type of coaching. This is the closest coaching I think I've ever found, all you folks on here and hearing your stories and everything. But I think it's a fantastic idea. I'm jealous of her industry because you could pick up their industry guide, or go to their industry webpage and find any number of that type of services that you're experiencing right now.
yeah. Well, if you want, let me know, because they do the first 2 sessions free if you want.
Yeah. Okay.
I can put you in contact.
Yeah. All good.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's great. Congratulations on that. I mean, I think it's really smart to give that a shot.
It was eye-opening. Just, it was always just go in every day and sell, or build or put out the fires. And it's nice to now have an idea to what's the end game and what are we building to, and what's the plan to, it's sad to say it's what's the exit, but it's nice to have a goal at the end that we're striving to.
I'm laughing at Keith's comment in the chat. It's like, he's like, what's 3 days? What's worth 3 days next to me 24/7? I'm like, I don't know if I could survive that.
The exchange rate would kill me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But yeah, I'd like to hear from Keith, man. Keith is a guy who is consistent.
Yes.
Super, super consistent. I mean, that in itself think I read somewhere. I'm trying to think of what book I read it in, but just yeah, I mean, there's almost nothing you can't do if you do it long enough, consistently enough that you won't be successful. I mean, have you ever heard of somebody doing something for 20 years straight and just not being successful at it? This episode of the podcast is brought to you by glassgadget.com. Showcase Innovations creates tools that help shower door installers be more efficient and save time. Check out glassgadget.com for more information.
I heard Keith was an overnight success.
Yeah.
He's
Okay. Keith can't chime in. He's in public. He doesn't want to blow his cover. That's cool. I get it.
the public must not be cool enough to capture his attention because he's here.
Yeah, that's right. He's got one ear in here and one ear out there. That's cool. I like it.
Uh, yeah,
What?
no, they're very consistent to do what they've done and get it to the level they're at. That's got to be an extreme consistency from many people involved. Like the level of consistency and motivation from all groups involved there. I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's a real key to success of any kind, and
Mhm.
finding something that you really enjoy to do, you really enjoy doing, and doing that definitely makes it easy to be consistent and to show up every day. And the thing of making content really consistently, that is really challenging. I haven't quite cracked the code on that. I'm doing pretty well. I'm being pretty consistent. I'm getting a little bit of traction, but I do need to step it up just another notch and just kind of figure out. I think it's one of those things of building it into my routine. If I can build it into my routine, a time of day where I just do like, 30 seconds of content or something, and just try that and just develop that habit. It may not be good content, but it'd be consistent, right? And it's going to get better over time, just like anything. If you do anything every day, eventually you're going to get good at it.
Have you guys ever lost a fire though? Like you don't want to do anything? Like you're
Yep.
just consistently like you don't want to do anything?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how I feel right now. I'm kind of like, I don't know. Ever since my dad passed away, he left a big void here, and me and my brother and I are taking a lot of um, what he did. We're like Mike. We're a full glass shop too. So my dad, he took care of all the commercial side, and I did mostly shower doors. Now I'm like bouncing around doing both, and it's just I don't want to do anything anymore. I kind of just want to put a for sale sign in the front and see who wants to buy. But this is my kid's security. This is my security. This is our. My kids want a future. It's here for them. But sometimes I just don't. I don't even want to get up. Sometimes it's too overwhelming.
I can
It's
believe
just,
that, man.
and right now we're at the point where I know we need to hire people, but we need to see where the business is going to be at. Next year. But we're trying to see. You know, see if what we could do this year, and then maybe next year try to, bring people on board. But it's California.
Mhm.
No one doesn't really want to work. You know,
True.
and so it's kind of yeah. Sometimes I don't want to do nothing, man. I just want to yeah. That's why I haven't been on here. I just go home and and just that's it. Call it quits after that.
Adrian,
Yeah.
I'm getting a little older, and I think about things a lot these days, and going back in time and also moving forward. I think of a lot of things, and I just know that as a dad, you always want your kid to just carry on. Life goes on, and they
Yeah.
want nothing more than your success and your happiness. And you guys had all these, I assume, goals of expanding your business and doing what you do. So, I mean, from my perspective, I hope you would think of what your dad would be thinking, and he would, I
Well,
think, definitely want you to keep moving, keep doing your thing, and I think you'll come out of this fine. It just takes time.
yeah, it does. I know, but you know, like I said, I mean, he took a lot of the, stress. Like, we're to a point where I'm gonna probably X out and not do commercial anymore. It's good money, but I don't know how many of you guys done commercial, but you got to have a separate truck for that. You can't run the same rig. I got to have a separate truck. Everything. I used to do commercial years ago, and I had a set up for that. And then I got into the shower doors more and more, and so like that's what I do. But it's just it's very time consuming. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'll do the repairs, simple repairs. I got guys could do that. I've been showing them how to do it and simple one closures, pivots, how to, panic bars, stuff like that. But man, it's just, I know my dad would want, but with my dad there, I was trying to expand the shower door side of the business. Like I was out there, trying to advertise, and I was getting into doors. Like I was getting to places contractors were using me. I was staying pretty busy, but that sort of kind of died. So yeah, if you guys know anybody that knows commercial in California, wants to move up north,
Mm-hmm.
the north, or we're not where all the crazies are at, all right? That's Southern California. Those are all the man dressing wearing people down there. Not over here. It's a little different.
You're in a pretty good spot right there.
Yeah, I'm where we still carry
Yeah.
or on the side of hip.
There you go. There you go. Packing heat.
Packing heat. Yep.
Right on. Well, I'm glad you're here, Adrian. I mean,
Yeah.
just showing up, being
Appreciate
on
it.
the call, speaking up, saying, telling the truth, about how you're feeling, man. That's all really super, super positive stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's all you really need to do because I mean, I'm sure I speak for all of us, man. It's like we're all here for you, man. If you ever need to
Yeah.
talk, man, you got our numbers, whatever, man.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate you, Chris, calling, checking on me. I really appreciate that. Tim, he called me a few times, and Bill. So yeah, you know, yeah, I just don't know. I want to continue it. This is what I love. I worked very hard to be where I'm at, to learn what I know how to do. I didn't just stick to one thing in the business. I wanted to learn everything, and I did. And so, oh yeah, it's just, yeah.
Dude, it's a tough time, dude. I
Yeah,
mean,
me and my
it
brother.
hasn't
Yeah,
been very long.
me and my brother. Yeah, my brother. He's taking care of the financial, the books and stuff. I hate that crap. So he takes care of that. Me, I'm more like the vendors and pricing and make sure we don't underbid anybody. That's what I'm doing. So you find out you have less time to do things than that needs to be done.
Yep. That's true.
Hey Chris, since you're retired out of the glass industry, we got a mushroom farm up the street. I don't know if you want to come by.
Really?
We got a little retire. I got a little office set for you. Just part
What?
time if you want to work.
Dude, that could happen, man. I'm knocking out,
you
dude.
you're a few hours away, not that far.
It would be a blast hanging out with you guys,
I'll send a
man.
donkey your way to pick you up if you want. No, like,
Send a town car or something.
yeah, a little donkey named Trudeau. Yeah,
Dude, I would love that, man. Careful what you ask for.
yeah.
Dude, yeah, man, I'm really glad that you're here, and like it's man, this is still really raw, dude. It's only been
Tell me about it. My
dude.
dad's office still the same the way it is where he left it. It's I worked with him for 25 years, and I can't even go on that side of the building, that office right now. It's hard. It's hard. It hurts.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I know it. Yep.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So it's kind of trying to fight through it and I want to get back where I was.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You will. You will.
You guys see if you guys see a for sale sign on the group, hey, make an offer, see what happens.
See. We'll scrape together our change, see what we can come up with.
We got 6 trucks. We got 2. I mean, I'll rent you the office. You're not getting the warehouse, but I'll rent it to you. Everything else, you guys even have the employees. It's all and we have the employees already. I mean, it's already filled up.
Employees.
We got stock of glass. We got a lot of glass stock. Hey.
Ah, man. I know, man. You guys are situated. I think it's not a crazy idea to think about, phasing out maybe, the commercial part of it, or I mean, not that you definitely should, but you should definitely be thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I mean, it's just yeah, it's just yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen. It just can't do it.
Dude, the
You
thing
could
about
always
commercial
go
is like,
back to it if you wanted to.
You know what?
I said if you stop doing it, you could always start doing it again if you
that's it.
chose to. I mean, you get to
Yeah.
choose. You get to choose everything. You were focusing on shower doors, you said, so now maybe is the perfect time to totally focus on shower doors and go hard on that because that's what you find what you really like. Screw the stress points of the stuff you don't want to do. Like you get to choose whatever the hell you want to do and freaking go for it, and do the things that you want to do, and
Yeah,
you can always do the other crap if you wanted to later.
yeah. That's what I was thinking about, me and my brother. So
Yeah.
he's not sort of on board for it, but it's easy for him to say he doesn't really know that much of it. So I mean,
Well, he sees the numbers probably of it maybe, so he
it
probably
is
likes
getting
the commercial numbers are great,
it
but
is it is
it's a
it
different
is
animal, it's a different animal. So
yeah.
but if what you like is this, I mean, hell, obviously, the Dodmans, they're doing pretty good doing just shower doors. So, I mean,
I think it,
it
I think
is
it all
what it
depends.
is.
I think it depends on the market too. Where I'm at.
Yeah.
So
But
I mean, yeah, I don't know, but yeah, if you know any commercial guys in California, let me know, man.
All right.
Well, not just commercial guys. I need an all around guy who knows how to do everything.
Keep my eyes open. I'm kind of not that far from you.
I might just go put a rope around your leg and pull you out. I don't know.
Yeah,
See what happens. Come on, Chris.
Who knows?
I heard you work for the union, so I'm sure you're not shy around some commercial.
Done that. I've done that. And you're right. It's like a commercial truck, you got to have like every tool in the world. Because like if you don't have that one tool, you're gonna need it.
You gotta have a chop saw. You gotta chop saw. You gotta have 5 different drills. You gotta have
every kind of offset, whatever, every kind of stubby, whatever, every kind of tip and driver and pry bar and hook tool and
yep.
You're gonna need it.
I liked it though. I did like commercial. I still do. I like it. It's yeah. It's just shower doors are just a lot cleaner, a lot easier, in and out, few hours. Commercial, you stay there all day and freaking make a big old mess. And you got to clean it all up. Ugh.
Yeah.
And if you forget to wear freaking your gloves and you start rubbering, you put in your mouth. Ugh. Yeah, that's nasty.
There's someone coming around all day long telling you to put your eye protection on, put your hard hat on.
Oh yeah, screw that.
Put your hard hat on.
What was I gonna
say? All day long, all day. Like that's all. There's somebody. It's their job to do that all day long.
They do. They do that a lot. Yeah. And then when they're not around, I'll take it off. All right.
Yep, everybody.
Yeah.
Would you rather have the latex, the vinyl stuff, or would you rather have Serrano pepper in your eye? I forgot to wash my hands the other day after cutting some Serrano peppers, and I rubbed my eyes. That was awful. I don't know which one I'd like. Where the vinyl doesn't
Hey,
bother me too much.
hey, grab your junk with that and see what happens, bro. That's worse.
Uh,
I've done that. Oof. I'm like, what the? There's no relief from that, man. It's just like just got to deal with it.
glad I can make you laugh.
Oh man. Okay, where were we? Hey, yeah, we're talking about motivation. Being motivated. How do you do it? What do you do? Ready to
I
go?
think I think you don't always have to have good days. You had said something about having bad days and not knowing what to post. I think when I was on social before Facebook deleted all my profiles on Instagram, and I was posting multiple times a day, and a lot of times I hit those roadblocks of what to post. But when I stopped caring, I really loved Gary Vee's advice many, many years ago, where people would call him and his common answer to this question of these roadblocks of creating content was your roadblock will go away whenever you stop trying to create content and you just document what you're doing. And I was just started documenting what our day was. We had a horrible day in the shop. We couldn't invoice. We missed leads. I found an old measurement in my pocket and I never ever sent the quote, like real things that were also problems in the business. We started expressing it, lead times. And the weird thing is the people following us that were enjoying our good content also were having the same struggles. And then they would comment and say, hey, same. And that made us feel like community. But then also we found solutions. People would actually reach out and be like, hey, if you want your lead times crushed, so and so over here, I'll give you the contact. And all of a sudden, just by documenting what we were doing, showing people what we were doing on a day-to-day basis, talking about our mission, our frustrations, how we were showing up, and these were our goals. And it's being hard to find clarity on them. Like just other people reaching out to say me too was just like a huge someone popping that balloon over your head of stress. This sometimes those moments are huge, and you get those when you share the real self, when you share the real stories, when you share the real things. And like I loved your dad, Adrian. I love the conversations I have with him all the time. I would just say no hasty decisions. Whatever decision you want to make is right. Brad was absolutely correct when he talks about honoring the thing you would want to do the most is honor them. And the thing they would want from you, I think, is to be happy and honor them if you could to do that too. And that's kind of, they always want you happy first. And I found like losing my mom a long time ago, the deep hole of work I went into, that's when I scaled my own truck, got all this stuff when I was in the glass shop and at Austin when I went into that work hole and I was like, oh, I'm going to show her what I can become and got the house and all this stuff. And about a year in, I had never addressed my actual mental anger at all this. And I crashed hard and everyone around me suffered for the months that I had to come back from that. And that's what I would say, like, do whatever you want, follow what makes you happy, honor whatever wishes he had, you can to the certain degree, but make sure you are taking time for yourself in between then to just speak your truth, whatever truth that is. Like showing up today's perfect example of that. Like
Yeah.
that we're all here. I know you're going to get a lot of people just reaching out to you just from that because we know you're good people.
Thank you.
And we know you're always going to say some random crap too. We know that.
Yeah. Good job.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I can hold my own. Yeah.
That's the truth.
I appreciate it, guys. Yeah. So,
Who else? Anybody got a question? Anybody need anybody got a problem they're working through? And
I have a question.
okay.
Does anybody have a really good cheap credit card processing company?
Critical processing company. Rob, what do you know about that?
We just switched over because we're using Smart Glazer. We were using Stripe, which they're not bad, but they're not that great either.
Mm-hmm.
And we just switched over to BizDog, and they're pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I have some different people that have used different merchant accounts, and I have Stripe personally, but everyone I know, when they can, they move over to other people. And there's a lot of guys, I'll make sure to share the link in the group to some of the ones people recommend. But the great thing about these the corporation, great things are great. You can sign up to Stripe, be immediately approved, and have your merchant account for those guys that don't have some sort of processing. But the fallback of that is a lot. The cool thing is there's a lot of singular dudes who have created their own merchant things, and they choose what your fees are. So you just get in with the right people, and they're going to be able to negotiate on how low to get your rate, and you're going to be able to shop around and get some people who will answer the phone because you're one of their 20, 30 clients, and that's great for them. That's perfect for their model, and they can give you really competitive rates. So BizDog, yeah, try that, but I'll find the other guys that I know, like 3 or 4 people are using different ones, and shop around.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
we were using Stripe. The biggest issue we were having is, like you were saying, like the support side of it, because it's like good luck trying to get a hold of anybody, and it's like I had to scour the internet to just try and find some type of phone number to finally get a hold of somebody when we were having issues, and they just kind of leave you out to dry. They don't care, like any dispute stuff. It's always, you know, in favor of the customer, and it's like, yeah. So we were very happy to get out from underneath them, but like I said, they were good while it lasted, and they were, a little bit more competitive than definitely like Square and even what's the other one, QuickBooks Online. We started using that when we first opened up, and that was a nightmare, but they're not really a nightmare. It was just super expensive. But yeah, but BizDog, Jennifer, and I can't remember the owner's name, but they're really good people, really nice and easy to work with.
Yeah, like Rob was saying, there are a lot more people, just kind of small business people who are doing their own like credit card processing, and then they make deals, they're brokering deals and stuff like that. So you can have an individual, kind of like a small business person that you reach out to your contact who might like live in your area, that you can meet in person, and they can get you really competitive rates, stuff like that. I did that for a while, a few years back. There was just a guy in our networking group came in. He's just like, yeah, this is what I do, and it was awesome because if I had a problem, I mean, I had a point of contact. It was like the guy basically who owns the company is my point of contact. So might be able to find something like that.
Thank you.
It's a whole new world out there, man. I mean, you can be a banker if you want.
Somebody use Clover.
I've used Clover before.
Yeah, I like them.
Oh, it's not
They're
bad.
pretty good. They're pretty good.
I've used all that stuff.
Yeah.
Get around, man.
Clover's easy. Very easy to deal with too. Very easy.
What else, guys? Have we covered everything here? There's just not much left to say.
I'll say one thing.
Okay, Brad.
All right. So going back in time again, since I'm old, what I used to do all the time to get myself motivated, especially for sales, is I listened. Of course, this is back in the day. You had cassette tapes, and of course, then beyond that was the CDs that came out a little bit later. All that stuff is archaic, but the point is that I used to always listen to sales motivational folks while I was driving because I did a lot of road time. It's hard for me to do that now. I wish I could do that again sometime just because it was actually very entertaining. And the more you listen, the more things that just start to circulate in your mind as far as ideas, and you comprehend what they're saying in one way, and then you can go back again a year later and listen to it again and get more out of it that you maybe in a different way. And so I think, that's what helped me build my career over the long haul was all the sales motivational tapes that I listened to. And I did take some sales training um, where you're coached in classroom settings. And I've done that before, and that was really good too. So, we talked a lot about what motivates you and what helps you, what you do to grow your business. And, we talked a lot about the business side of it, but from a sales standpoint and a personal standpoint, those really psych me out a lot. And so to this day, I love getting on the phone with customers. I love to call on people. Before I was a recluse, I was not comfortable talking to people, and over time it just became a lot easier. So sales training, motivational speakers, and that sort of thing. I don't know if they still do these like big conventions where, you know, maybe somebody knows of some, but they used to have these sales motivators come into town. There'd be like maybe 3 speakers, and you sign up. It's a whole day thing, and you're in this audience, and you just listen to people do their presentations. Does anybody know if they still do that?
Oh, sure.
Absolutely. I went to
Yeah.
Tim Robbins one about 2 years ago, and the thing they've morphed into not just they can't get a big enough audience just for speakers alone, usually, unless it's massive. So they're usually like a home trade show hires Tony Robbins, and also Pitbull, the Spanish Latin speaker, is performing. So I'm there watching these 3 dynamics of someone selling their real estate plan for a majority of people that are selling homes in Austin, which is my friend was doing. So I accompanied him, and then watching the concert and then seeing Tony Robbins work his magic. And it was a 2-day thing. So they're kind of morphing to do a lot of things in one, but still connect you with the multiple speakers to get that business side and the connection side.
Yeah. Well,
One that I did here, Brad, locally here in Alpharetta was one called Grow Stack Drive. They had John Maxwell and Ed Milet were the main people there the first time I went, and then the next year I went after that too. Was some cool people, but the first year was really cool. But yeah, that's definitely still a big thing, and you got some great motivational people there. So John Maxwell was amazing, and then Ed Milet was pretty good, too. The Power of One More with him, that was he was essentially selling and promoting, but it's also motivating, so it's definitely a big thing, and it works too. You run out of those things fired up, ready to do something, but it's just a matter of what you do with it, at that point.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah,
So,
I think even the books too, like what you guys were talking about earlier, even that one Chris had mentioned a couple months ago, Buy Back Your Time. I got that one on audiobook because I get a lot of road time going out and doing estimates and stuff, or having to make those special runs to Old Castle up in the Bay Area. So I throw that in there, and yeah, it's kind of the same feeling. I get out of the truck and I'm like ready to go start building my empire and all this stuff. So that makes a big difference too. Just if you don't have time to read them, just throw it in the audiobook.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
and
great. Great thing about that is if you're listening to them like as you're driving or you're on your way to a call, on your way to a sales call, and you're listening to this stuff, I mean, it makes it really easier for you to implement it right away because you're on your way to do something. You can use a little something. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this guy, Jeffrey Gitomer. Jeffrey Gitomer, check him out, man. He has a ton of he wrote the Sales Bible. He has a ton of little videos. You can get, you can probably gorge on a ton of his content for free. He just puts it out there. He's got a great approach to sales. It's like super honest, no pressure. It's like exactly the type of sales techniques that I love to use, which is just like, hey, just let the thing sell itself. Have a good product, that you don't have to lie to somebody to get them to buy. And just be honest, and it's a really great technique. But he would talk about when he's on his way to a call, he listens to like metal music, so he just gets all like amped up, on the way to and stuff like that. There are little things that you can do like that of just listening to something, when you're on your way to just get your enthusiasm level up. So yeah, I would highly recommend checking that out. There's a lot of names in here, like Robert's putting in the chat. Zig Ziglar, classic, man. That dude is just awesome. Um,
They're very funny too.
yeah, funny and just easy to listen to and just smart, there's a ton of content out there that's just really great. Um,
I would
yeah,
definitely say something else important about motivation is making sure that the standard who you surround yourself with, make sure you're surrounding yourself with some people that are above you and like further, like that are doing the same stuff or even better, like make sure you're getting these people around you in your circle that you're talking to constantly that are motivating you as well and keeping you going, if they're not better than you, you need to find some people that are better than you and doing big things, or doing something bigger. So
that's exactly why I come here on Wednesdays.
yeah, this is like this is like one person, this is like one person with a bunch of persons inside of it, and then those people you're hanging out with us on the weekend, they need to be doing something.
That's it, man. That's
That
right. Be
growth
around.
mindset.
Yep, be around positive. All right, everybody. Great call. I think that turned out excellent. Be sure to come on back again next Wednesday. If you're watching on YouTube or something, give us a like. What the heck? It's free. All right, man. See you next time.